Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fermented salsa. I really love this ferment. It's perfect for the summertime when we often have a glut of tomatoes and cucumbers, and it's just a really nice refreshing ferment that you can serve with salads, you can serve with nachos as a dip. It really is quite delicious. All you're going to need for this ferment is obviously your fermentation vessel, so just a glass jar with a lid that can close tight. We're going to be doing about 900 grams of salsa, so you'll need a litre jar just to make sure that we have enough headspace in the top. You're then going to need 450 grams of tomatoes, so any variety will work. So yeah, any varieties you can get your hands on. 450 grams of those, 450 grams of cucumbers, then a couple of cloves of garlic, a handful of fresh coriander, and then I like to add some smoked paprika as well. You could add chili flakes and things like that if you wanted to as well. You are also going to need salt, of course. This is a lacto ferment where we add the salt to kill off anything unwanted, but still allow salt tolerant strains of lactic acid producing bacteria to grow. So you want unrefined salt where possible. So I use Cornish sea salt because I live here in Cornwall. It's local to me, but any unrefined salt will work, whether that's rock salt or a variety of sea salt. So we'll get started. We want to roughly chop our veggies. It's, again, chopper's choice. You can chop as chunky or as fine as you like. Generally speaking, because tomatoes and cucumbers are quite soft anyway, I quite like to chop mine quite chunky, just so they retain some of that crunch when they're fermenting. So I kind of just chop them into squares-ish. But again, it's entirely up to you. So I've got all my veggies chopped and in my kind of bowl here, and then I am going to weigh out my salt. So the amount of salt you use is really important. You don't want to use too much that you're going to be killing off everything, but you want to use enough that you're creating a nice safe environment for those beneficial microbes to grow without competition from anything else. So the ratio I like to use is 2% salt per weight of vegetable. So I've got 900 grams here, roughly, of veggies. So 2% of that is 18 grams. So I am going to weigh out 18 grams and just add that straight into my bowl. There we go. Then I'm going to add some smoky paprika. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons there. And then you're wanting to mix it. So because tomatoes are quite wet anyway, it's not going to take too much of a mix. Usually when I do my sauerkraut, I say really get in there and squeeze it because we want the salt to draw out the liquid. There's already a lot of liquid here, so we don't need to do that too much. So I've given that a good mix. I'll show you there. I wish you could smell it. It's delicious. And then it's time to pack. Like, that's literally what you need to do. Just a quick mix is enough for this ferment. So get your fermentation vessel, and then we just want to pack the jar with the veggies. So as always, I recommend doing a handful and then squashing it down, because we're wanting to create an anaerobic environment, which is an environment with no oxygen. Again, to create a nice, happy space for those naturally occurring bacteria to grow without competition. So handful at a time, squeeze down, handful at a time and push down. So you can see there, that is all nicely packed. And if I press down, there's a nice layer of brine. We want a nice layer of brine to sit across the top. So there's enough headspace there. When I weight it down, that brine will rise up nicely. So fermentation weights wise, I like to just use bits of cabbage because I have them accessible to me. So, you know, I use a lot of cabbage and I have lots of odds and ends. So it's a great way of saving on food waste. So I'm going to use a cabbage leaf just to stop any straggly bits of cucumber and tomato from floating across the top. Then I'm going to use a core of the cabbage. It's going to sitting up a little bit above the edge of the jar there, because when I put my lid on, it's going to push those tomatoes and cucumber down and the brine is going to rise up. So then I'm going to close my lid on tight, and there you can see there's a nice brine sitting across the top there. And this will then sit on my kitchen counter for about 3 days. It is really warm at the moment. We're in July, end of July. My kitchen's probably averaging about 23 at the moment, which is quite warm. Any longer than 3 days, the vegetables will become quite soft. So in the winter months, it might take a little longer, 5 to 7 days, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. You can open the jar every after 24 hours, give it a try and see whether it's to your liking. Make sure to use clean hands and clean utensils, and then pack your ferment back up and leave to ferment. But don't be afraid to have a little taste. If you think it needs longer, you can leave it longer. If you think it's ready, pop it in the fridge. So after that 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and you know it's ready, you want to refrigerate, because that just slows down fermentation. You're never going to stop fermentation, but refrigerating it slows it down, so it increases the longevity of your veggies further. I would probably consume this ferment if you want the vegetables to still have a bit of a crunch to them. I'd probably eat it within 2 weeks to a month. After that, your veggies will be getting a little bit softer, which isn't the end of the world. The flavour's still amazing, but just in terms of having that slight crunch that we often like in a salsa. So I do have a jar that I made the other day that is ready. And this one has gone a little soft. It's still really, really delicious, but I don't know if you can see on the camera there. It's really, really nice, but yeah, you can see the veggies have gone a little bit soft. If it's not that palatable having it that soft, you could blitz it up and make kind of more of a pureed salsa that you can use as a dipping sauce for things, as a marinade. Sky's the limit, really. You could use it as a salad dressing and things like that. But yeah, that's it. That's the fermented salsa. Please like, follow, share. I'll be doing some more videos. I know it's been a little while since I have done any, but yeah, I'm going to try and keep up with doing more videos. If you want to learn more, I am running some workshops. You can head over to deliafermentedfoods.com to find out when they're running. And yeah, I've got workshops like miso, kimchi, sauerkraut, and cultured dairy as well. So you can head over to there and find out more. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy fermenting.